Today we're talking about pre-orders, specifically whether or not it's okay for you to cancel a pre-order with an LGS, with Target, with Walmart, anywhere. I want to talk about it because recently, man, I had an interesting encounter in the Discord that I'm in of a statement that I said where I don't feel like I got a very good, fair interpretation of what I was trying to say. But we're going to go through and we're going to talk about whether or not I feel it's fair to cancel a pre-order, and in what scenarios I think it's fair to cancel a pre-order, and in what scenarios I don't think it's fair to cancel a pre-order. Because hey, guess what? The situation is kind of gray, and I don't think that in every single case that you cancel a pre-order, are you the bad guy? So I want to go through and I want to talk about different scenarios, and I want to bring up kind of a popular one that got brought to my attention recently about the Charizard UPCs. So I'm sure if you've been paying attention to this channel or you pay attention to Pokemon cards at all, you know about the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection, the one product that everyone wants to get their hands on before the end of the year. It's got 3 amazing Charizard cards in it, and lots of LGSs up until this point have been pre-ordering them out. Whether they've been pre-ordering for $200, $250, whatever is considered market price nowadays, or when they pre-ordered them. Or there were some LGSs that pre-ordered them, or online stores that pre-ordered them in bundles. So basically, you could buy the UPC at MSRP, and they would bundle like a Battle Styles ETB or Fusion Strike ETB or some product that's been sitting around that can't sell, and they're just trying to kind of pass along to you, but with the opportunity of getting the UPC at a decent price. And that's what happened with Safari Zone collectibles. Now, Safari Zone got real mad. They posted a Discord message, and I think what it was about was on Target.com, the Charizard UPCs were available for like, I don't even know, like 4 hours today. They were available. They were pre-ordering. It was insane. There was a huge window. It might still be open for all I know, of time where people were able to pre-order the new Charizard UPC at $119.99. A lot of people, I'm sure, who pre-ordered before when they thought it was going to be kind of more a limited release, like the 25th anniversary UPC, they pre-ordered for maybe more, or they pre-ordered a bundle. They were then able to get it for MSRP at Target, and now they're canceling their pre-orders, their bundles, their $200, $250 pre-orders with the LCSs or LGSs that pre-ordered them out at I guess market price or in the bundles. Safari Zone was one of those companies that pre-ordered them in bundles. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to read this, and then we can kind of go over it as we go. I'm going to be blunt here. Due to the amount of emails we have gotten already this morning, any canceling orders with us will result in a blocked account and removal from groups, and Silver Tempest being refunded as well. As I will be honest, I am sick and tired of this bullshit. If I canceled your orders due to overselling, peeps would cry about payday loans. Now, I agree. I think that, let's say that I pre-order from them a $200 Charizard UPC, right? And it's increasingly more difficult to get. And by the time that release day rolls around, on eBay, they're going for $300, right? $100 more than I pre-ordered it for. Now, technically, the LGS is losing out on $100 on that product. So, in all fairness, if they're allowing cancellations like this, then in all fairness, they should be able to cancel UPC pre-orders to then sell them for $300, because at the end of the day, like, they need to do what's best for their business. But like they're saying here in the statement, people would be pissed about that. Of course, people would be very mad about that, and they would be, crying about payday loans. I don't exactly understand the reference. I think stores take in pre-order amounts, and they don't obviously have product, so they're able to work with that pre-order money until they then actually sell the product. So that's probably what they're talking about, where they're basically taking a loan and then they're refunding you without giving you the product that you paid for, so that they can sell it for more. So basically, they're just operating with the pre-order money and then not actually providing the product to the people. They're just refunding the people afterwards. So whatever they do with that money is technically feels a bit like a loan. So I guess I understand what they're saying. Call me petty, call me greedy, call me what you like, as I personally do not care. A pre-order is an agreement between buyer and seller. I always hold up my end. I expect the same in return. So let's talk about pre-orders in general. I want to mention the statement that I brought up in the Discord. This was posted, and then we started talking about it in the Discord. What I said in the Discord, first I asked whether or not they were selling in bundles or not, because it says here in the screenshot that they're selling for MSRP. So I assumed that they were selling them in bundles because that's typically how people were selling for MSRP, but not actually selling for MSRP, was they were bundling products, which bundling products with a pre-order with a really in-demand item is a way to make it so that people who have been having trouble getting it might be able to get it before bots get it, because bots aren't going to want like all of the extra shit that they're going to have to, that the person buying with the bot is then going to have to sell or move or just get stuck with. And most likely they're not going to want to pay more for that. So we've seen that a lot with the PlayStation 5, for instance. PlayStation 5 bundles are a way for people to get their hands on a PlayStation 5 because the people scalping them don't want all the extra shit. A lot of times when you see places selling PlayStation 5s, it's coming with a game, another controller, a remote, you know, stuff like that, so that it's a little more expensive so that bots won't buy it, but you're kind of getting stuck with some stuff that maybe you don't need, but at least it's available for you. I said, I forget if they sold MSRP individually or if they sold bundles. And somebody said that they did sell bundles. And I said, well, that makes sense then. I'd cancel a bundle of product I didn't need if I got one from Target at MSRP. Immediately, there was, you know, statements about people who would cancel a pre-order are not the best kinds of people. In the moment, I said, well, worst case scenario, they get stuck with a super lucrative item. Let's say there were LGSs that sold these, that pre-ordered these things at like $200, $250, $300. And a lot of people start canceling with them, right? They may lose out on whatever market price ends up being versus however much they pre-ordered it for, but they're at least going to have a product that's going to move. The Charizard UPC is going to have very high demand. It's going to be very easy to sell. Now, there are scenarios in which this won't be the case, which is, let's say something like Battle Styles. People pre-order Battle Styles for $120, and then the day before release, P Football Pete has Battle Styles for $89 a box, and people start canceling those pre-orders to buy from P Football Pete for less money. People are going to get stuck with those boxes that they planned on you buying. So most likely, they are purchasing based on your pre-order. They're saying, okay, this many people pre-ordered this product, so that means that we can buy this much stuff, right? So their stock is being evaluated based on how many pre-orders that they're getting. It's kind of a way to suss out like how much you're actually going to sell, how much you can actually buy from a distributor. If an LGS bought 100 boxes of Battle Styles and pre-ordered them all for $120, and then 70 of them got canceled because there were better prices elsewhere before launch, then that store is going to get stuck with a bunch of product that they thought they were going to sell. So yeah, I mean, that really sucks. And that's not cool that they would get stuck with that product. So we need to keep that in mind as we go forward to the different scenarios in which I think it's good or bad to cancel a pre-order. Now, there are a lot of people that responded very negatively to my comment about how I would cancel a pre-order. And I then said, I just see it as more of a gray situation. I didn't mean to offend, because a lot of people approach this topic very emotionally. People in the Discord have online stores, they buy from distributors, they do pre-orders, whether it's through Whatnot, or some of them actually have brick and mortar stores. So it makes sense. I'm sure they've encountered this before of people canceling their pre-orders with them because there's a better price before launch and doing chargebacks and all that stuff. And I agree, that sucks. And so this is probably a much more emotional situation for a lot of the people in this Discord, where it's not for me because I'm not in those situations. I'm looking at it more as like a buyer who wants to get the best price possible, right? From that point of view, I can understand why my statement would rub them the wrong way. That statement is something that they try to avoid as sellers who sell via pre-orders. So after that, it was just a bunch of people just saying that I'm insensitive and it's a very bad take. And now, what's interesting to me, right, is it didn't take long for this whole thing to flip. Another person in the Discord says, canceling a pre-order as a customer, if within the limit, is fine. Most have a non-refundable deposit, but doing a chargeback is a dick move. True. And if anyone would have wanted to actually talk with me about my take, they would have sussed out that I agree with that take. I would never cancel a pre-order the day before the product came out unless it was within their terms of service for me to be able to do so. If I emailed Safari Zone about canceling my pre-order and they said, we don't do cancellations on pre-orders, sorry, I wouldn't charge them back and send my product back or just screw them over by canceling my pre-order. The only time I've ever canceled pre-orders is within whatever policy or limitation that they have on their website. And that's the knowledge in which I was operating off of. And it was kind of frustrating for me because I felt like everyone immediately jumped to the most egregious part of the argument and applied it to what I was saying without trying to figure out the actual scenarios in which I do think it's okay, and if I think it's not okay in other, that's why I said it's a gray area. It's a gray conversation that no one wants to have. Nobody wants to think about it logically. They're just going in with emotion and saying, I suck, I have bad takes, yikes, all this stuff. Instead of actually engaging, they just immediately place the most negative connotation of my statement onto me and then just move on. Now, to reiterate, for the crowd in the back, I don't think it's okay to cancel a pre-order the day of, the day before, the day after, if the place has limitations to when you can and cannot cancel a pre-order. You should play ball within those limitations. I would never, if their website says you can cancel a pre-order up until 2 weeks before release, I would never ask to cancel a pre-order within that 2-week period. And if I did and they said, no, this is our cancellation policy, sorry, then I wouldn't cancel the pre-order and I wouldn't force the issue by doing a chargeback. I think in that case, you're a dickhead. You play by the fucking rules. If you pre-order something, you stick to your guns. But if a store, if a seller, if a person has a timeline or a limitation or a cancellation policy, then you can play within those rules. And it's okay to cancel pre-orders if you're within the cancellation policy. Or if you cancel a pre-order and the store says we have a 20% fee for your cancellation, then you take the fucking fee. You play within the rules of each individual store. And hopefully those stores have those rules publicly posted on their website so that you can play by them. I would never cancel a pre-order the day before if I wasn't allowed to by the store. So yeah, it was really frustrating for people to just immediately assign worst possible case scenario to what I was trying to say without actually trying to engage and figure out where I was actually at. Especially, I spend so much time in this Discord. I don't think I've ever said anything that would make it seem like I would take a stance of like, fuck LGSs and everything that they think about. Everyone should cancel their fucking pre-orders and charge back and stick up with all these fucking products and fees and shit. I would never say that. And it was, frustrating for people to immediately apply that to the couple sentences that I said in the Discord. Like I said, I think the situation is gray. That's it. I think that there are times, if you're following by the rules of the company and the cancellation policies given, to cancel your pre-orders. I think if you charge back a store like the day before, or you force the issue of a cancellation because let's say the product doesn't cost as much as it did before when you pre-ordered, stuff like that, I don't think that's right unless you can play within the rules of the cancellation policy. Play within the rules.